Hi everyone, we're doing a special collaboration today. I'm Eva from Pearl of the Stars, and this is Tarot Sensei.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, I think I shall say the same. So today we would like to speak on the topic of connection, since we have Moon transiting in Scorpio. And we're going to ask Tarot Sensei to lead us into the energy of connection and what would be something that's helpful for everybody. But why I also felt like this is an important conversation I wanted to have, since connection is one of these things we don't consciously, I would presume, put such an emphasis on of importance, yet it is not just important, but it's essential for us. I would even say more essential than food and water that we drink, since our first breath in this life came with connection, and our primary connection was with our mother. And that is one of the first sources of coming into this dual reality and forming our perception about connections in general. And later on, we go into life looking for that special connection or that so-called missing piece. Yet we often come to, if we come to realize, which would be good, that essentially what we're looking for is to have that first need met when we took that first breath of life.
The energy.
Hmm?
The energy.
Well, I would actually like to have more of a practical example. What would you define in, let's say, in your own experience as a deep connection?
If we are talking about romantic relationship, or if we're talking about like partnership.
I mean, one thing can turn into the other.
Deep connection to me, I think this is when you don't even have to speak to the person, but you understand what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel the same way, you think the same way, you act the same way. And when you feel comfortable around this person, and I need to actually correct myself if we are talking about the romantic relationship. Of course, I think a special connection is when you feel like home, when you feel like this is your person. If this is friendship, I have special connections with friends I don't talk very often. For instance, we can have no conversation for years and we can call each other and like, hey, what's going on? We can catch up on things and it just feels like they were these years apart. So we grew different ways, but at the same way we evolved in the certain direction, so that helped us to keep, something that we had relevant. I think this is special connection.
And would you consider the whole experience of depth being through the connection you have with another person, maybe hidden parts of yourself being revealed that you somehow know about, but you were not consciously so aware of until you had that mirror? Like you said, like we have the same interests and likes, but it's not so much about being the same at the core. Probably you have the same values, but now through that connection, that's being mirrored.
I think in my personal case, people who I can call my special people, I think they come to my life to show me that you need to appreciate all the differences we have. Yes, they teach me sometimes, all the time actually, they teach me how to accept people, how to accept the differences, because we're all different, and they teach me how to be more patient to people. For instance, the friend of mine, Irene, I call her soul sister, right? And we didn't talk after Ukrainian war for a couple years because we had different outcome, and we had different point of view on the political situation. And after that, I realized that wars come and go, dictators come and go, but friendship is forever. So it doesn't matter what she thinks. I value that there is something meaningful between us. And after I made the first step, I realized actually she changed a lot over these 2 years. We didn't talk, She changed, and this is amazing how we still have the connection. We still have conversations. We talk, and everything is fine now.
Do you see parts of you? Because yes, we're all different, but there are also elements, even if sometimes we don't consciously realize. Do you see parts of yourself in the other person, even in that difference?
Yes, but I also need to say that I see parts of myself in people I usually hate.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. That's good. That's still, yeah.
When I hate, not hate is very strong word actually.
Strong.
When I feel that person is annoying me very much, I understand that, oh wow, actually this person acts like me at this very moment. And sometimes it feels like just, this is my mirror, like ugly mirror. Yes, my friends and the people who is very close to me, they mirror me in a good way, like
in a comfortable way.
In a comfortable way, when you're like dressed well, looking good, like no pimples, like good hair, and But people you hate or people piss you off, they mirror you in a terrible way. So they actually reflect your negative sides.
And it's true, yes. I mean, every trigger is pretty much a trigger to some hidden shadow parts of ourselves. So, do you feel like it's easy for you to recognize that and integrate it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's really important. Because I feel like unless we have that established connection with ourselves first, it's very difficult to find the connection with somebody else and find the relatability, which that relatability is not always based on our good sides. Sometimes, I can relate to somebody, for example, actually we just had this conversation when I met somebody and they said, oh, I'm an idiot. And I responded to them like, please don't talk like that about yourself. And then we had a similar conversation where I said something about me, like being a bad mom. And you're like, don't talk about yourself like that. So even in that moment when I was with that first girl and she said that I feel I'm an idiot, I could relate to, it's not so much about the word idiot, it's more about when you make decisions from a place of covering up for something that's deeply painful and it's stupid. Like, for example, you might go through a very difficult experience and the easiest way to distract yourself from it is, let's say, through work. And on the outside it can look like, wow, you're doing so much, you're so successful, but meanwhile internally you feel like there's so much pain, and the only way you can push through that pain, even though it's not always the healthiest way, is through work. So the way that comes out later on in the conversation, I'm an idiot, because you realize that that's not the right way to deal with that very intimately painful situation. And yes, I have this awareness that sometimes like all of this over excitement or sarcasm, they're just masks for internal fear and pain that you go through, and it just makes it more bearable when you're able to play with it and have fun with it.
True.
So it's when you catch yourself in those moments, it's like, yes, I relate to you, but not just on your good qualities, also on your human qualities or shadow qualities. But having that wide perception and awareness comes first with knowing yourself. And one thing, since it's Scorpio moon, I want to kind of go more into depth of this. I feel like unless we allow ourselves to feel what we feel and question what is behind those feelings and what we truly need, it's very difficult for us to establish that connection with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's so easy. I mean, especially when I go back and when I was younger, let's say I feel upset and I just get into that emotion like I'm just upset. I don't know why. I don't even want to question why. I just feel like that. Or then you go into a moment, I'm just sad or I'm just angry. But the truth of what's really going on and what we truly need is always behind that emotion. So, in order to start building that connection to self, it's important to, okay, great, you feel sad, you feel upset, you feel hurt, you can feel whatever you want to feel. First, to allow yourself to feel that. And the second thing is not to become absorbed in the feeling or the emotion, because then you can get to the place of, as I am too much of a victim because I'm into that emotion, or I'm a victim to that emotion. But kind of question, okay, fine, I had this interaction, I feel hurt. Why? What is it, something that happened that hurt, that I felt hurt by, or something in that interaction that I expected that didn't meet my needs? And then once we start diving more deeper, we start realizing that actually it's not just the other person hurting me, it's either me allowing things that probably I shouldn't have allowed, or I was expecting some non-verbalized needs to be met. For example,
Mm-hmm.
let's say I need more cuddling, or I need more time together physically, or to talk, whatever it is. But because we don't realize it, and that we kind of expect the other person to figure out what that need is, and they don't need it. And then we're like, but they hurt me. Why did they hurt you? Because they're not talking to me. Well, did you ever say that from the beginning that you need somebody who's more available to speak with you? No. Well, so once we start having all of these like deep questions, okay, you feel like that. Why do you feel like that? What triggered it? And then you start getting little by little to the root cause of what's really going on deep within. Do you have any thoughts about that? I started analyzing a lot.
Yeah, I think you are talking about ego, first of all, if I'm correct.
Yeah, well, the ego doesn't want to accept that it's hurt, or it doesn't want to accept that it's wrong. Actually, it doesn't want to accept that it's wrong.
Yeah, of course, because ego doesn't take anything against its will.
Yeah.
It's like inner child that actually demands something, and if you hurt, meaning that you approaching the situation not through meaningful and conscious perception, but through perception of your ego, which is always hurt, because it's like unloved kid. If you allow you to react on things, and in the end of the day you feel like devastated, you feel like disappointed, I assume that your reaction was dictated by your ego, not by your conscious mind.
Yeah, ego is protecting you to fully experience your feelings.
Correct.
So it's kind of protecting you from seeing your truth in a way.
Well, I also think that ego also makes us to experience feelings.
I'm not against having, well, we have ego, first of all, and it's important we
Yes,
have ego because
absolutely.
it supports also our immune function. Without ego, then we'll be just like little wobble with no self-protection into life. But I but it does serve a purpose when we are aware of what we truly need, and of course when we are able to verbalize, not react to them, when we can like actually respond to those situations.
Mm-hmm.
But because the lower vibration of the ego, maybe we can do a whole video. Okay, this can get like really long. If we look at our, for example, Mars placement, a higher expression is like being able to assert yourself, but assert yourself in an evolutionary way is being able to like verbalize, like this is what I'm looking for, this is what I need, this is what I can do, this is what I can't. Like, you're able to establish like these boundaries that are healthy. But unhealthy ego is when you're too absorbed in the emotion and you're just reacting and unable to, assert it. You just instinctually react to it, but it's not like consciously integrated, that feeling.
Well, in this case, I think the reactive position, well, many years ago I read the book about Kabbalah, right? And they teach you that there is reactive point of view and proactive point of view. When you react on things that actually, triggers you, and there is proactive way, do not react on things, which is very difficult. If we are talking about soul needs, if this is the topic.
Okay.
So in this case, yes, you can be proactive, but for how long? If you truly demand something that you need and you don't get, so it may, it can create a monster within you, can create like something very deep and painful.
If you have the expectations that those needs to be made by a specific person.
Correct, yes.
But that still comes back to you.
You can be as much polite and proactive, but if you don't get it through from the person that you truly desire, yes, of course you will be miserable all the time.
Yeah, but maybe they're just not the right person. That it still comes down to you.
Also true. Here's well, yes, you're right 100%. And if we're talking about the emotional spectrum of the person who is next to you, there is a very simple example. For instance, we have actually crayons. It's very easy to show me on crayons, but whatever. For instance, your spectrum of emotions is like 7 colors, right? All of them. And you're missing like couple, you're missing, for instance, like green and red. But the person who's next to you, his spectrum is very limited, and he has only orange and blue. And you're saying like, I need green to be happy. But he gives you blue. And you're like, no, it's not green, it's blue. And he's like, this is the closest to green I have. I have nothing, I have just red, which is not even close to green. But blue, quite similar at certain, lights. It's just like the same color. But it's not. It's
blue.
It's blue. And it's not good for you, but he's like, this is all I have. This is closest I can get you. The intention is good, but it's not
what you need.
It's not what you want.
Yeah.
Not what you need. Intention is good.
You might need it. So, for example, because you don't have it.
It doesn't mean that person is bad. That meaning that he or she is not capable of giving you that, because you're just in a different level. You have just different tools in life, emotional tools.
Doesn't have that resource to give you. No, that's a great example what you just gave. I love it.
Yeah, it's very easy.
It's like I want you to give me green, but you're like, I don't have green.
I would like to give you green, but I have blue, and it's closest to green, and you're like, no, it's actually not.
Yeah. So I think the whole point, even with this great story that you gave, for example, is that connection is not about placing our expectations on another person, because connection is more about finding. Okay, let me paraphrase this. Connection is more about being able to invest in the other person, being interested to learn about them and find the relatable pieces. When we approach a connection with constantly having these expectations of what we need and what we have not fulfilled, then it's very difficult for us to be able to see them and accept the other person for their truth. As true connection is only established from a place of truth. So I want to wish everybody to be able to take a step back, because everybody needs something. But for a moment, when you meet another person, to just observe yourself, are you able to fully be present there? And you might have a lot of thoughts running through your head, but just focus on your breath and intuitively sense what rings true for me and what I feel connected to. Because even those in those differences or even in those dark parts of ourselves, they're pieces we can connect to. It's more about our willingness of being open to hear them, to see them, to feel them, rather than, again, place our expectations and projections onto them. So let's have Terry Sensei right now guide us.
What do you want to know?
Guide us to the question. Every time we meet someone, especially if you're going out or dating, what is a message that would be helpful to keep in mind to allow us to stay more open and experience the other person and create that deeper connection that feeds our body, mind, and soul? Regardless of whatever it turns out, it's more about being in that receptive state. Oh,
This is the best message ever, Queen of Cups. So, a little story about the card. Cups, first of all, represent feelings, right? And if we talk about, this is the best card about relationship. I couldn't actually imagine even the best one, the Queen of Cups. Cups represent feelings and emotions and everything that fulfill us. It can be the person, the job, the project, the business, the money, whatever fulfills you. But if we are talking about relationship right now and people we want to meet or want to be partnered with, this is the best card, because this one exactly says that we need to approach the person with all maturity, in love, if I can say so. Just imagine you are the person who knows how to give life. This is basically the card of a loving woman. Yes, it's very feminine energy. Receptive, but also giving. She is about to become a mother, so she is capable of giving unconditional love. So advice is, when you approach the person, be ready to give unconditional love. Ask yourself, are you ready to give to this person who is sitting in front of you, to give unconditional love? Because if the answer is no, stand up and go away. You're just wasting your time. If you are ready to give like just a little part of that unconditional love to this person, and if the answer is yes, stay, have conversation, find something good in this person. All right?
I love it.
This is
very receptive energy there.
This energy is, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a male, a female, it doesn't matter. Non-binary, transgender, it doesn't matter. But if you have this tender, loving energy inside within you, so yes, you're capable of love. If there is nothing inside, so you have nothing to give, all right? So the answer is advice.
Yeah, because when we don't answer from a place of like acceptance,
Find this
again,
love within.
Yeah, not placing our expectations, just open for acceptance, like, regardless of where that interaction or relationship takes you.
On the bottom of the deck is
illusions.
Is Seven of Cups. It's not illusions. So this one, so subconsciously, you may think that I've been on too many dates and I have so many choices and so many things to choose from, so many partners, so many men, women, whatever you're going to date. And it just seems like all of them not worth your time, and some of them may feel like just nothing, or all of them may seem like they're nothing, but it's not true, because actually one of them is hidden gem. Look at that, right in the middle.
The truth.
Are you this person to deserve this person? Ask yourself.
Deserve or open to see them.
If you realize that you deserve love, ask yourself first, what comes first? is the person that you are going to love comes first, or the feeling of love that actually lives within you comes first? Do you love yourself? Do you have that feeling of love within you? If the answer is yes, so I guess you will find the person to apply these emotions to. Because without that, there is no love, I suppose. This is my message. I am sorry for taking a stage.
Go ahead. If this is what you felt wanted to come through, let it come through.
Yeah.
Connection and love happens with acceptance, and the first step would be for acceptance to have full transparency. Am I here because I want to get something out of it, or am I here because I'm interested and I'm open to learn and to understand about the other person? And if not, then, let them go and find it somewhere else. So to start with that moment of transparency and acceptance first will be the step to starting to establish connection or meaningful connection. Sometimes we think we connect, but yeah, I'll just finish it here. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for watching.
And now we're gonna get more
Blow the
cozy.
candles.
It's blow up the place.
And we'll chill a little bit.
Set the spark on fire. Set the house on fire.